Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Do you guys know that currently there are 10,892 gems published on rubygems.org with over 62 billion downloads? Today, I'll be discussing how you can create your first very own Ruby gem so that we can increase that number. My name is Sajjad Umar and I'm a senior software engineer at Tixum. I have developed 25 plus projects for Tixum in last 4 years. I recently authored a gem called P8 Pusher, which makes it very easy to send Apple push notification with P8 certificates. Other than that, I am a creative writer and a student of AI and Internet of Things. You can see my work at www.sajadumar.com. As my introduction is aside, let me just tell you guys that what we are going to cover in this session. So first of all, we will discuss what a gem is. Then we will move on towards creating a gem. Then we'll publish that gem to rubygems.org. Then we will summarize all of these things together. And then at the end of this session, we will have a QA session. If you guys have any question, I will try to answer as many as I can at the end of this session. So let's take a deep dive. So what is a gem? A gem is simply an open source Ruby library that contains some Ruby code. You can use that library in different projects so that you don't have to write the same code again and again. There are a few examples I have mentioned here. First of all, there is Device. I'm sure you guys have used Device. It is a flexible authentication solution for Rails with Warden. There is P8 Pusher that allows you to send Apple push notification using new P8 certificates. And there is Redis. Redis is basically one-to-one API for Redis. Now you have a basic idea that what a gem is. The question is why we want to create a gem. So there are two basic use cases. We want to reuse the code so that we don't have to write it everywhere, and we want to share it with the world because sharing is caring, right? Now we have basic idea what a gem is. Let's start implementing. To implement, I'll be using Bundler. Bundler, to install Bundler, you just have to write install Bundler on your terminal and it will be installed. After that, we have to write this command. This command has basically three sections. First is bundle gem, and the other one is gem name, and there is an optional argument of what test suite you are going to use. So when I run this command on terminal, I get this kind of output. This is just suggesting that Bundler has created initial structure for our gem. So it includes a lib folder, a gem file, a gem spec file. We will discuss all of these in detail in this session. So let me tell you guys what we are building. We are building a super cool gem that detects smartness. When we pass ROR as an argument, it will say ROR is smart because it is, and everything else is dull. And it will smartly pluralize the words. It's not very complicated, but it will do the job. At the end of this session, our gem will behave something like this. We will pass everything to smartness detector. It will return dull. And if we pass Ruby on Rails, it will say smart. And if we pass a word to pluralize section of this gem, it will pluralize the word. when you are writing a gem, it's a good practice and it's very important to start with test so that you can ensure your users that you got them covered. Your gem won't break in their code. So I will be using RSpec in our gem to test all the features we are going to implement. To add RSpec to our gem, we have to add the dependency to gemspec file as highlighted in this screenshot. The gemspec file also contains some basic information about our gem, like name of the gem, the version we are releasing, the author of the gem, and emails of authors, the short summary, homepage URL, code URL, and what gets loaded when you install the gem, and executable path. And at the bottom of this file, you can see there are dependencies. There are two kinds of dependencies. Some are development dependencies and the other are external dependencies. Development, for now, just focus on RSpec. We need to add this dependency in the development group of gemspec file. But why we are adding this in gemspec file, not in the gem file? We have that as well. So there are two basic reasons. First one is it is the best and recommended approach to add your dependencies in gemspec file, not in the gem file. And other one is anyone who wants to install development dependency can do that with a simple command gem install gem name and add a dev flag at the end without forking or cloning the repo. So as you can see, gemspec file is mentioned in the gem file. Once you add the RSpec dependency, run bundle install, that will install all the dependency present in the gemspec file. Now it's time to write some tests. As I told you guys earlier, our gem is doing three things. First, if we pass everything as a string argument to smartness method of a detect class, it should return null. And if we pass ROR as an argument, it should return smart. Similarly, when we call pluralize function and pass in some word, it should return a pluralized word. All the specs that we are gonna write will go under spec directory at the root of your gem. So when I try to run the specs at this point of time, we will definitely get some errors. This error basically suggests that we haven't implemented the detect class yet. So it's time to implement that feature. To add the feature, we just have to go to lib directory of our gem and add a new file, detect.rb. This file contains all the functionality of our gem. All two features. So first one is smartness that accepts name as an argument, and I am simply checking if name is equal to Ruby on Rails, it should return smart, else it should return null. Similarly, in pluralize method, we are getting a word as an argument, and we are using active spot dependency to pluralize that word. To add active spot dependency, it's the same drill. We need to add the dependency in gemspec file and run bundle install. Now, when we run the test, everything should be green. We have added some features to our gem. So before publishing the gem to rubygem.org, we will create a CLI for our gem so that we can use terminal to use all the feature of our gem. CLI, all best gems come with a CLI. So before we jump into implementing a CLI, we need to think about testing. So how are we gonna test our CLI? We will use Aruba and Cucumber. Aruba is basically a library that makes testing command line application very easy. And it works with both RSpec and Cucumber, but I'll be using Cucumber because it is very easy to write test in Cucumber, and it is very compatible with Aruba. So to use Aruba and Cucumber, we need to add dependencies in gemspec file. It's that same drill. We need to add development dependency and then run bundle install. Once everything is done, we need to define some features, Cucumber features. Cucumber features are basically simple plain English. To define those, we need to create a file. For example, we are writing test for detect.rb class. We will add a file under features directory named detect.feature. Then we will define what our feature is. Our feature is basically detection, and we will add a short summary, and then we will define scenarios. Scenarios, so far our gem is doing three things. First scenario is everything is dull. When I run smartness detector, smartness everything, then the output should contain dull. It's that simple. We just have to write plain English to write test in Cucumber. The scenario 2 is ROR is smart. When I run smartness detectors, smartness ROR, then the output should contain smart. The third and last one of this class is pluralize the word. So I would write test something like when I run pluralize and take in send a word as an argument on the CLI, the output should contain smarts. Now, when I try to run these tests, you will see some warnings because we haven't defined what these steps are going to be, how Cucumber should run these tests. So we can either manually add the definition of when, then, and all the scenarios, but we won't do that. We will use Aruba to define these for us automatically with a single line of code. To set up Aruba, just create a directory named support under features directory and add a file called setup.rb. Setup.rb includes a single line which requires Aruba Cucumber. This will do the magic of defining all the undefined steps automatically. Now, at this point of time, if I run our test, we will see a red screen. There are two basic reasons for that. First one is we don't have any executable in our gem because it is just in command detect not find. To run something from CLI, we need an executable, which is not present in our gem right now. And the other one is we haven't implemented the CLI yet. So how we will implement the CLI? We will use Thor. I mean the Thor gem. Thor is a toolkit for building powerful command line interfaces. To use Thor, it's again same drill. We need to add this as an external dependency in the gemspec file and run bundle install. Once we do that, it's time to add CLI class. CLI class will be added under a lib directory and smartness detector module to define some. This CLI class will be inherited from Thor. Thor will actually help us implementing our CLI. And there are two features right now. Forget the third one. I will discuss that later. First one is smartness, which takes in a name parameter and pass it to smartness method of detect class. Similarly, the pluralize method takes word as a method option with the alias of -w and pass it to the pluralize method of detect class. Detect class we have just implemented in the previous slides. So the CLI part is done. Now we need to create an executable. Creating an executable is very simple. You just have to add a exe directory in the root of your gem and just call start on the CLI class you just created. For that you have to require, for that you just have to require smartness detector slash CLI class and call start on that. The start method is basically provided by Thor. Once you have this code in place, you just need to run chmod command on your terminal to create the executable. Once we have the executable, we can run the test and everything should be green. Now we have a support of CLI in our gem. We can run all three of these commands and these will run without an error. Now we have a CLI. We should add generators. Generators are basically initializers, or you can say they help us generate some file in our gem. Most of the gem has some command that you run and they create some files and template files and configuration for us. So user of the gem don't have to type that in manually. So we will create a generator for our gem too. So the idea is when I run smartness detector install smartness with ROR as an argument, it should generate an empty directory named smartness, and there should be a template file ror.txt inside it. So we will follow the same pattern. We will start with test. So just to add the test, we will create generator.feature file under features directory and define our feature. Our feature is simply generating a directory and a template text file. So scenario is creating a template. So I would write something like when I run smartness detector install smartness ROR, then the following file should exist. Then I'll give the file path. Then the other output should be the ror.text should contain following text. The text is Ruby on Rails, ROR developers are smart, and everything else is dull. Now, if you try to run the features, they will obviously fail. To pass those features, we have to add the support of installing the generators in our CLI. To do that, we will add another method in our CLI class that will accept group and name as an argument. Group is basically the name of directory. In our case, it will be smartness, and we will pass these argument to the install class. We haven't defined that class yet. We will in soon. So now test, we have all the tests in place. We will implement the feature. To implement the feature, again, we have to add install.rb class under generators module in lib directory. And this install class will be inheriting from Thor group. Thor group will give us some handy features to create some templates and directories. So three important things in the class are we are accepting two arguments. These are string arguments. You can change the type if you want to integer or something else, but we are using strings in our case, and we are including Thor actions. Together, the Thor generators and Thor actions will help us building some directories and template files. First method is create group. Create group is basically creating an empty directory for us, and smartness method is copying all the stuff from smartness.txt template to our new file. The smartness.txt file has an ERB-like syntax. You can see on the right side of your screen. It can handle all the ERB tags and will receive all the arguments we are getting in generator class. So this class, this txt file will be copied to our new file with the argument in place. So let's try to run Cucumber tests. For that, we will run bundle execute cucumber features, and we should see all green. It means we are on the right track. Let's try to test this on terminal. When I try to write smartness detector install smartness ROR, our gem created two things for us. First is the smartness directory, and there is a file ror.txt, which is highlighted in the screenshot, and the content is also there. All ROR developers are smart, and everything else is dull, right? So once we have all the functionality and features of GEM implemented, let's see how they collectively look, how the tree looks. So all the core logic will go under smartness, a lib directory under smartness detector module. Uh, all the dependencies will go under gem spec file, and all the specs will go under spec directory. All the feature testing, cucumber testing, and CLI testing will go under feature directory. And there, all the releases will go under package directory. We will cover these releases shortly when we push our gem to rubygems.org. Finally, we will push the code to GitHub. You can check all of the code I have shown you at this link. You can take a screenshot, or you can get the slides later on. So we have a gem, a working gem in place. It's time to publish that gem. rubygems.org is basically a Ruby community gem hosting service that allows you to publish your gems and install them. It's a 3-step process. You need to sign up for rubygems.org. You need to build the gem with correct version. And finally, you need to push to make it live. Signing up is very easy. You just have to add email address, username, password, and then hit sign up. After that, it's time to test the gem locally. Now, to test that, we need to build the gem. To do that, we will write rake build. Rake build will create a package inside package directory for us. Then we can install that package with gem install, smartness detector, and the entire package name. This will install the gem in our local machine, and then we can test that gem. Once we are satisfied with the test, we can push that package name to GitHub. And after that, it's time to push it to rubygems.org. To do that, you just have to write gem push and the package name. For the very first time, when you try to push your gem, you will be asked to enter your RubyGems credentials. Once you do that, your gem will be live. So it will look something like this when it is live. So yeah, we have published a gem on rubygems.org. To summarize all the things I have covered in this session, let me just revise. We have seen what a gem is and why we want to create it, why it is important to start with the test, and we have also covered how we can create a CLI for our gem and how we can create some generators. Then we released that, then we added some release packages, and after that we published it to rubygems.org. So I expect you guys to build some cool gems and allow others to use them in their projects. I think everything is done from my side in this session. If you guys have any question, it's time to post your question in the comment sections so I can answer them one by one. I'm not seeing any question. I guess everybody is clear and everybody has understood what I have covered in this session. So yeah, to update your gem, you just have to update the version number in your version files and create another build for your gem, and then you need to release that gem with rake release command. Then the updated version will be downloaded on all the machines that try to install your gem. Is there any other questions? Okay, no more questions. So to wind things up, I would like to thank RubyConf Pakistan for organizing this event. I would also like to thank Tixem Limited. Without their support, it won't be possible for me to participate in this event. And finally, all of you for joining in. You can support me by subscribing to my channel on YouTube. I will add some videos about how you can add reports to your gem that will show on GitHub page, and how you can use GitHub Actions to generate badges and more stuff. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.